Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya. Thank you so much for being here today. Today's video is really just going to be a get ready with me. I'm going to show you guys a very inclusive step-by-step routine on how I got this look. This is pretty much my everyday routine. I was actually getting ready to go to work. So this is the look, okay? I literally just finished it. I wanted to show you guys. I'm going to come back on here later after my shift so you guys can see what it looks like after an 8-hour shift. So I'll be wearing this for like 10 plus hours today, but that's kind of the whole point of my routine. It's a lot of steps, it's a lot of makeup, but it will last you all day. Your makeup will be untouchable. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. I love you. Bye. All right, y'all, let's get started on this makeup. I have a shift at work today. I'm starting with a lip mask. This is from Tatcha. I think, what flavor is this? This is the, does it say? Oh, plum blossom flavor. It's like one of their limited edition ones that they came out with this holiday season. I'm gonna go in with the, what is this, Bobbi Brown vitamin enriched face base. This is the first primer we're gonna be using today. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this primer because I love the nourishment that it gives my skin. I just feel like it clogs my pores. I don't know, like sometimes when I use it, like I used it yesterday and now I have like these breakouts on my chin. That could be like my period coming. It could be like, it could be a lot of things, you know. It could be my pillowcases, it could be the food I'm eating. You know, I've been eating good these last couple weeks, so it could be a lot of things, but I don't know. But I do love it, so we're gonna see how my skin reacts to this. I don't use a lot either because it is super thick, but again, super nourishing. Great if you have dry skin. I have like combination oily skin, which could also be a reason why this doesn't really work for me, but I really like it, so I'm gonna keep using it. With brows, I always start with my brows. This is the Precisely My Brow Wax from Benefit. Let me get my mirror, hold on. I haven't been using this for a long time, but I think I like it. I usually use the Benefit brow gel, or let it focus. What's it called? Not the boy brow, the gimme brow. There we go. I usually use the gimme brow from Benefit, and that's just like my normal go-to brow gel. But I've been trying the brow wax lately, and this is in the shade 5, by the way. But I think I like it. It works well with my other brow products, so I can take a brow pencil over it really easily. And I like the control that I have with this brush. This is like, this brush is shaped kind of cool. I don't know, I'm into it. And this does hold down your brows pretty well, but it's not like super duper strong hold. Like, I always compare everything to the ABH Brow Freeze Gel because that is the strongest brow gel I've ever used. But it's like a step below that, I'll say. It's not as like laminating as that brow gel, but it's definitely got like a nice hold. So there we go. And I know my brows don't look the same. I have to like shape them to look the same. It's crazy. I'm gonna let that dry for a little bit. Okay, while that dries, I'm gonna take some of this Easy Blur primer. I usually use like 2 or 3 primers before I do my makeup, and I use them for like different reasons. Okay, so I use the vitamin enriched face base. That was more of like a moisturizer, so that's gonna keep my skin like nourished and hydrated and, you know, prepared for all the powder I'm about to put on my face. And then I usually take a pore minimizing primer or like a blurring primer like this, and that is what's gonna fill in my pores because I have pretty large pores like on my cheeks and my nose. So that's gonna help with that. And then I like this one, specifically the Huda Beauty one, because it has like a tacky kind of finish, so it blurs your pores and it's silicone free, so it has a silicone feel but there's no silicone in it, right? And then once you press it into your pores and you let it sit for a second, it kind of turns tacky. And so then any creams or liquids or whatever that you put on top of it are gonna adhere better and they're gonna last longer. So That's why I really love this primer. It's like a 2-in-1 basically, which is why I love it. So I'm gonna put that on. I don't put a lot on my forehead. I don't like to put a whole lot of product on my forehead, but that's on. Now I'm gonna let that sit. I've been using this ABH brow definer. So this is from Anastasia. It's their brow definer in the shade Ebony. I've been using this a lot recently. This is like one of my go-to brow pencils. This is what I used in high school because when I was in high school, I only had like 20 minutes to do my makeup and I was not trying to spend time. Like it was 7 in the morning. I was not trying to do a whole lot. But this pencil, because it's like kind of thick and it's arched, it's just so easy for me to get that brow shape. And at the time, I wasn't that good at doing my brows. So like this was really easy for me. But I just like this because I can get really quick, easy brow strokes with this. And I can get the thickness that I want without like taking a long time, you know? Okay. I don't really know if I have like a brow. Well, I do have a brow routine, but it kind of switches up depending on what mood I'm in. But I know what kind of shape I want. I always match this brow to this brow. So that one's like filled in pretty much. I don't have to do a whole lot to this brow. But then I have to like shape this one to match this one. So I'm gonna show you guys how I do that. So I usually start from the arch and I make that arch shape. So how long I want it to be, how high up I want it to be, just like that. And then I'll kind of tilt my pencil and make those arch strokes. The arch is the most important part of the brow for me because it really just determines like everything about your brow. Okay. And then I'll take, and then just so y'all know, I'm being very light-handed. I'm not pressing hard at all because right now I'm just trying to get the shape down. So then I'm just gonna drag that line so that way I get a definitive bottom line, fixing up the arch, and then I just lightly fill it in. And I'm kind of touching it up a little bit. Like if I see spots that need to be fixed, I'll just go in and fix them. And then I'm really light when it comes to the front of my brow. And then I like my brows dark, and I like them to be one color. I know some people like to have dimension in their brows. They like it to be like darker down here and then lighter in the front. I don't like that. I like to go for like that doll kind of Barbie look. So I want my brows to just be brow, you know? I don't really care about dimension or anything. I just want them to be bold and look the same. Okay. And this pencil lasts for so long. Okay. And then that's kind of how they look. It's like that rough shape. I'm going to take my concealer so that way we can start cleaning them up. I use the Fenty Beauty Concealer. It's the one I've been using these past couple weeks and I really enjoyed it. So this is the Fenty Beauty Wear Even Concealer. I use the shade 370N and this is kind of my perfect shade. And this concealer is more hydrating. And I like that on my eye because I feel like it's such a thin area of skin. Like the skin on your eye is thinner than the rest of your face. So having something that's a little bit more hydrating and better for the skin, I feel like is nice. So I just coat an even layer pretty much on my entire eye. And I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit to get some coverage because with hydrating concealers like this, they tend to be just a little bit slippery when you first apply them. So letting them sit for a little bit is gonna help with that. And then I'm just gonna take a little eyeshadow brush. Okay, and then I take a little bit of my concealer on the back of my hand and then just kind of load up the brush. This just helps not, like, it makes it not look streaky on my eye. And yeah, and then we start cleaning up. So just kind of like that. And then I'm gonna touch up the front. I don't want it to be super high up. Okay, kind of want it to be flat. Kind of like that. I think I'm gonna make this a bit higher. I think that's it. There we go. So this arch, I need to fix that a little bit. And then I'll touch them up throughout my makeup routine, because like with all the powders and stuff I put on my face, sometimes my brows can get a little messed up, but I want them to be as close to perfect as I can. And then I'm going to take more of my concealer and let that sit. I actually just realized I forgot to wet my sponge. So I'm gonna go wet this. This is the One Size Beauty blender, the like sponge. I love this sponge. It gets so big when it's wet, and so it just makes it so easy to like blend out my foundation. So I'm gonna go wet this and we'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. The sponge is wet. Did you see how large this just got? Like, this is a big sponge. Like, it's big. I'm gonna take my little brush and just blend out my concealer. I love the coverage this gives. It's beautiful. Okay, and I'm gonna take this extra concealer that's on my brush and just take that in the middle, because I have like some scarring up here. I just want to cover that a little bit. So I'm just gonna leave that there for now. I'm not gonna set it with powder just yet, just because I don't want any of that excess powder to get on my face, you know. I think I'm happy with the brows. I'm pretty sure this one is actually a bit thicker. Like, hold on. I always get to a point in my brows where I'm like, just leave it, Maya. Like, just leave it. Like, I'm gonna just leave it. Okay. I never claim to be the brow queen, but I am very particular about them. But right now, I'm gonna just let them be, and we're gonna move on. I usually go in with my Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder. This is my favorite primer slash skin tint slash foundation in the world. But as you can see, I'm hitting pan, and I need to find other things to use besides this, because I love this so much, but I don't want to go through it like that. Like, I don't know. So we're just going to use this Fenty Beauty Concealer. And I will say, like, using 2 primers and then a concealer is really nice. And the way I've been doing my makeup lately, I haven't been noticing a huge difference, because, like, I notice when I don't use this in my makeup, and so I've been trying to find products that I can use to kind of take the place of this step. So this concealer has been nice. I really like the Fenty, or not the Fenty Beauty, the One Size concealer. But I'm essentially just gonna cover up any acne scars I have. And I do like that this is hydrating, so it's not gonna be as rough on my skin. And the finish is really nice. So I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna set this with some all-nighter setting spray. This is just gonna help this dry down a little bit faster, and then it's gonna give the concealer some tack, so that way when I blend it out, it'll like have a bit more coverage and it'll adhere a little bit better to my face. And then I'm gonna take my sponge and just start patting that in. But do you see how large this sponge is? Like, it does half my face in just a few seconds, and I think that's amazing. So if you're a girly in a rush and you need a large sponge, definitely check this out. It's a little expensive, but in my opinion, I think it's worth it. Especially because, like, Patrick Star be doing sales, so if you go on his TikTok shop, he'll have a lot of sales going on. Ooh, do y'all hear that? I love that sound. This has been my foundation combo for the last like week, and I've been absolutely loving it, and I'm dying to share with you guys. So these are all About Face foundations. About Face is Halsey's makeup brand, and so I love her foundation, the Performer foundation. It's beautiful. It's not too expensive. It's only like $22, and it's a great foundation. It has medium buildable coverage. It doesn't break me out. She has a ton of shades and undertones, so you can really play around with different colors and different undertones that you need. And it just performs beautifully with everything and on everyone. It's just a really good all-around foundation. So I have 3 shades here. I have MD3 Warm, MD2 Neutral, and MD1 Warm. So I'm going to show you guys how I like to layer this. So the first one I use is MD2 Neutral. It's like the darkest shade that I have. And this is the first shade that I bought of this foundation. And I bought it during the summertime. So right now it's just a little bit dark for me. But that's why I like to use it on the bottom half of my face, because this is going to help with kind of the blend, so that way I like it to be kind of more brightened in the middle half of my face, and then I want it to be more even to my skin tone towards the edges of my face, so that way it blends better with my neck. So I'm starting with this shade on the edges, but just on the bottom half of my face. And then for the top half, I'm going to take MD3 Warm. This one is a bit more yellow, a bit more warm, and that's why I put it on my forehead, so that way it's still contributing to the brightness, but also that warmth in there is going to give me more of a bronzed effect. So that's why I'm focusing it on my forehead, and then I'm just dragging that down to the middle half and just kind of blending it with the other foundation. Okay. And I'm like really messy with it, and I'm putting a lot on just because I'm going to be blending with a sponge, so I'm allowed to be a little heavy-handed. Alright, I just keep that there. And then for the middle of my face, we're going to take the lightest shade, which is MD1 Warm, and this one I feel like is the yellowest shade that I have, and that's staying under my eye and in the middle half of my face. I can like feel it. All right. All right. There we go. That's all of my foundation. So then I'm going to start with my concealer brush, and I'm just going to carve out my brows so that way I don't mess them up when we go in for the blend. Just kind of blend that there. Alright, and then I'm going to spray my face down with some all-nighter, and then I'm going to let this dry down a little bit. So that's a bit dried, we're going to take our big sponge and just go in. And I'm not really dragging it out. Of course I want the shades to mix and kind of become one, but I still want them focused where I put them. So I'm really focusing on just patting it until it's blended. And then the sponge is gonna soak up any excess product that I don't need, so that way we get a more even blended look. And I know the lighting is weird. I look so weird on camera right now. Like, I really need to figure out my lighting because this is crazy. Like, but I promise you, in person, it matches. Like, this is kind of a perfect match right now. I don't know why it's pulling like this on camera, but it's okay. And the great thing about using a lot of foundation is when you put on your powder, if you're someone who likes to bake your face or bake anywhere really, if you use a lot of cream products, that powder is gonna soak it up, and then you'll get a more even like bake. So that's part of the reason why I use so much product, because I know that even on first contact, but especially like throughout the day, those powders are gonna start to soak up that cream product, and it's gonna look blurred and baby doll and smooth. And that's why they say, like, if your makeup isn't turning out as flawless as you want it to, or if it doesn't look the way you want it to look, it's because you're not using enough. Like, that is true. Like, if it's not looking doll-like, or if you're not looking how you want to look, you need to use more. And don't be afraid to blend. Girls be afraid to blend. I don't get why. So that's all of my foundation. Okay, so I blended it. I've let it sit. We got that setting spray in there, mixing it together. I'm going to put all of these away. I'm going to take my Huda Beauty color corrector. This is in the shade Mango. Huda Beauty has some of the best color correctors on the market, especially if you're someone who like needs an orange corrector, but orange is always like too dark or too peachy or too warm. Like, color correctors always only have like 3 shades, and it's like there's more colors on the spectrum than that. And so that's why I really love Huda Beauty's, because she has 6 shades of just orange corrector. So if you have any sort of darkness or blue tones that you need to correct, she's going to be able to have a shade that works for you. Blush, we're going to start with blush now. A new thing that I've been doing lately is that I've been doing my blush before my bronzer. So I normally like carve my face out with my bronzer, and then I cover it with blush, and then I go in with concealer and stuff. And I found that that takes a lot of like correcting on my part. Not really correcting, but I find myself having to go back over with my brush a lot to like reblend everything so it looks diffused. And I saw someone on TikTok say that if you use blush first and then you go in with your bronzer, it'll give a more diffused natural look. And so I tried that out yesterday, and I actually noticed like it was easier for me to get the kind of blush look that I was going for with less work on my part. So I'm going to show you guys how I did that. I'm going to start with the Rare Beauty blushes. Lately, I've been loving the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin blushes, and they've been the only things I've been reaching for. But I've been wanting to try something different, and this was like my go-to combo back in the day. So this is Encourage from Rare Beauty. I'm gonna start with that. And again, I like using a lot because I want it to kind of show through. And then again, those powders are gonna soak up all of the cream I have. So I start with Encourage, and I'm going to take Hope, which is kind of a bit lighter, a bit pinkier than this. And I just kind of mix it in there. And I keep it pretty high up because that's where I want the blush to kind of diffuse into. Okay, and I'm going to add a little bit more Encourage because I kind of got covered up. Okay. And then the brush I'm going to use is from BK Beauty. This is my favorite blush brush in the world. I've been on the hunt for like the longest time. I was trying to find a blush brush that like fit my face. So like I wanted this shape, but I didn't want it to be huge, and like I needed the bristles to feel a specific way. Like I'm very particular about my brushes. And this is the perfect brush. Like I tried this and I literally stole it from my mom. I was like, I want that brush. It's mine now. You're not getting it back. And this is perfect. It's beautiful. I use it every day. I clean it every day, and it still works perfectly. So I highly recommend this brush. I recommend BK Beauty brushes in general, especially if you're someone who likes to clean your brushes the way you should. You should be cleaning them after every use, especially if you have acne prone skin. But they last well. They hold up for a nice while. I have no problems with them. Okay, so that blended out beautifully. I'm going to do this other side. And this is more of a dewy formula, so it's going to look really glowy. But I love mixing these two shades. I feel like it's just a pretty, like, natural kind of flush, you know? Blush is usually one of the first things to go, like, especially when I do these long wear kind of makeup days. I always notice towards the end of the day my blush is the first thing to start disappearing. So I started to really layer on my blushes because I want to see them. I want my blush to, you know, last just as long as everything else on my face. So I have 2 concealers that I like to layer. These are my favorite concealers. I've been using these for weeks. They're on sale right now at Sephora for $8. So these are the Sephora Best Skin Ever concealers. I have like 6 of these in different shades because I love just kind of playing around with different undertones. So I have 34.5N, and this is kind of my perfect under eye shade. 35N is my perfect skin tone shade. So this is just half a step up and it's perfect for my under eye. I just kind of layer that one. And I'm gonna let this sit for a second so that way we can get that coverage, you know. But just a little backstory on this concealer. Not really backstory, but like just so y'all know. It's kind of a satin natural finish. So kind of think the Lancome concealer. It kind of has a similar dry down to that. Very natural, very long wear, very buildable. And it's still hydrating. It's not super thick. It's not on the thinner side, but it's not super thick either. I feel like it's a perfect everyday concealer. It's a concealer that works for everybody, no matter your skin concerns. Doesn't matter how old you are. Like, this concealer will work for you, which is why I recommend it to everybody, because you, like, especially concealer game now, it's like every concealer does something different. Like, you really have to pay attention to like the ingredients and how it's being advertised to see if it's going to give you what you want. But I feel like this is really good all around. It's kind of how I feel about the About Face foundation. Like, no matter who you are, that foundation will work for you. Same thing with this concealer. No matter what kind of makeup you do, no matter how old you are, no matter what skin tone you are, you will find something that works for you in this. So highly recommend that. So I let this sit for a little bit, get the coverage that I wanted. Now it's time to blend. So I'm going to take this brush. This is from Shein, but I actually do have one from BK Beauty, but I just, you know, interchange between the two I like to use. But this is actually called like a kitten paw brush. I don't know why that's like important to me, but I just think that's the cutest little name. But these are perfect for my under eye. I have like so many of these brushes. But I just wanted to mention that it's called a kitten paw. Isn't that so cute? But very nice. But I'm gonna start from the bottom of my under eye and kind of work my way up. I don't want to blend too much towards the middle of my eye because that's where I crease the most. So I just want to start from the bottom and kind of, you know, work my way up. I don't know. And I use this concealer to really define that shadow where my eye is. And that's how I kind of get away with doing like minimal eyeshadow, because I create my own shadows with my highlights. And I'm being really light-handed, and I'm doing a pressing motion. I'm not sweeping, I'm not like dabbing really hard. I'm just lightly tapping, and I'm dragging it to the areas that I want. And I'm using this for my nose contour too, because I don't really like to contour my nose, but I do like a reverse contour of my nose, and it's like my favorite thing to do. But do you see how beautiful that looks? Like, and it's just, I love it. I love this concealer so much. The shade I'm going to use is 33N, and this is my highlight shade. So I just take a little bit, and I really keep it in my inner corner. I don't take this anywhere else. And I'll take a little on my chin, and I like to take some in the middle of my forehead. And then I'm just going to use my sponge to blend out this concealer, just because I don't want it to be too much, but I definitely still want there to be a highlight. And I'm being super light-handed on my forehead. And we still haven't added bronzer yet, so this is just like highlights. And then since I'm here, I just want to clean up my blush a little bit. I'm just going to take whatever's left on the brush and just kind of diffuse that in. Just like that. Okay, for bronzer, we're going to be using my favorite bronzer ever. This is from LYS. It's their No Limits bronzer stick. I'm in the shade Courage. And so I like to take this stick with a brush. This is a Real Techniques brush, and I've had this for so long that I don't even know the name of it anymore. It's like not on here anymore. But this is like the perfect shape for my contour. And I just take a little bit, make sure it's blended on the bristles, and I just go right in. And it's just so easy and pigmented, and you get the perfect blend with like no work. And that's why I love it. Look at that. Oh, look at that! Oh my god, it's beautiful. And then I just drag it lightly under. And I like to put this under my smile line. Not my smile line, but like my natural contour line. So that way it kind of enhances. And then if I take it too far, I take my sponge and clean it up. And there we go. Okay. And then do you see how, like, since I did my blush first, it's kind of just like looking like from within. It's like a blush from within look. It's not like super stark on my face, you know. I think that's really gonna help with any blush blindness you may have, because that's something I was always afraid of. I was like, I wanted a lot of blush, but I never wanted to give blush blindness. And so I think this is like the perfect technique to avoid that. Okay, and then I'm gonna take a little on my forehead. Okay, and then I just take the tiniest bit of this contour, mix it on my hand, and then take that on my nose. Oh, do y'all see that giant hair? Oh my god. I've had this brush for too long. Apparently it's starting to shed. I hate that. But I've had this for like over 10 years. So like it's run its course for real. And I was like, my mom used it before she gave it to me. So this brush has been used. I just really want to make sure everything is blended and diffused. And I'm going to take my sponge, because I don't want my forehead like bronzer to come down super far. I don't want it to be that dark. And just clean that up a little bit. And then just clean up the edges with the brush. Okay, so that's what we're looking like so far. Okay, everything's kind of mapped out. Before I blend under my eye, I'm going to spray once again with some all-nighter. I think we look very nice. I know I look kind of yellow on the bottom half of my face, but don't worry, we'll fix that. So I'm going to take my brush once again, start from the bottom, and for this, I'm not going to really move it a whole lot. I really just want to focus this where I put it. But I will drag it down my nose to do my reverse contour. And once again, I'm being very light-handed. I'm not pressing hard at all. And there we go. Look at that under eye. It's time for my favorite part, setting powder. My powder routine is very strict. It doesn't change. It's very set in stone. Okay, I do one eye at a time when it comes to setting my under eye, just because I want to minimize creasing. So I start with a pressed powder and then I bake with a loose powder. So this is the Kosas Cloud Set powder. I use the shade Breezy, and then to bake we're going to be using the Huda Beauty powder, and this is in the shade Banana Bread. So I'm gonna first shake up this powder just so I can like dip straight into it. And I have my mirror ready. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is blend out any creases I see under my eye, because you don't want to set your creases. So I just want to make sure that we're really smooth and evenly blended. Okay. And I'm going to take a clean powder puff. It's very important that you use a clean powder puff if you're using a powder puff at all. If you're using a brush, make sure it's a clean, soft brush. But you want to make sure whatever you're using is clean, especially if you're using a powder puff, because if your powder puff is used, the fibers, like the excess product on the puff, will start to pick up any product that's on your face, and then it'll start to look patchy. So you want to make sure that it's like either fully clean or like very lightly used. And you can like dust it off beforehand, you know, but just make sure that's not packed with product. That's why it's really important that you clean your brushes before, like you clean your brushes after every use. So that way you can avoid that. And that's why I have so many powder puffs. But I'm loading up my powder puff with the Huda Beauty powder, and I'm just tapping off any excess because I want it to be loaded with powder, but I want it to be smooth. I don't want it to have any chunks of powder because then you're going to see that under your eye. And then I'm just patting it and really making sure it's evenly applied and that it's smooth. And you really want to let this sit. Okay. So both of my under eyes are set and baked, and as you can see, my nose contour is on point, okay? Love that. So I'm just gonna let this sit, and then we're gonna set the rest of my face. Let me get my powders for that. Hold on, because it's a whole nother process, honey. So the way that I set my under eye with a pressed powder and then I bake with a loose powder, I do the same thing with my face. So I actually use a pressed powder foundation to set my face. So this is from Makeup Forever. It's their matte velvet skin blurring powder foundation, and I'm in the shade Y455. This is a bit warm for me, just a little bit, but I feel like it's not really noticeable. So I just really like to pack this on, and I'm just using this to take my cream products, so like all of my foundation really, from wet to dry. Kind of the same thing under my eye. This is really great because it's kind of blending the powders into the liquid and cream foundation. So it's going to help with longevity, it's going to help with coverage, it's going to help with giving a really blurred look, obviously. So that's really great. And I'm focusing this just where the foundation is. I'm not taking it like where my bronzer is or anything. Just where I have foundation that's not set. For the rest of my face, I'm going to take the One Size powder, and this is in the shade Rich Peach. This is my perfect shade when it comes to powder, and I love this powder so much. I already bought a backup. Just because it's just that good, and it gives such a blurred look. So if you're someone who likes to go for the kind of baby doll look, or if you want to just look blurred, smooth, and poreless, that's exactly what this powder gives. But I like to bake this. It's kind of a light bake, not super long or anything, but I press it first where my smile lines are because that's where I start to crease. And then I'm just gonna press this under my chin just because I don't want any sort of transfer. I hate when I get foundation like on my shirt or like on my neck. It bothers me to like no end. It's crazy. And again, I'm just pressing this, and I'm just taking this lightly over my bronzer. I don't want it to cover it, but I do want to lightly set it, so that way when I go over it with my powder bronzer, it doesn't like stick or anything. And I'm taking this over my forehead. Look at my forehead. Look how smooth that is. I love this powder so much, you guys. And I'm not afraid with my powders. I'm not shy at all, and I think that's why my base comes out so smooth, and that's why it lasts so long, because people will really look at me and be like, your skin is just beautiful. And I'm like, honey, this is not skin. You're looking at 17 layers of powder and concealer and foundation. Like, what are you talking about? But it looks so smooth because I pack that shit on, okay? I'm not scared at all. I'm not scared about looking cakey. I don't care about looking cakey because I have setting spray to help with that. You know, I have Fix Plus, I have Charlotte Tilbury, I have Urban Decay. So I'm really making sure, and I want to pack this into my creases as well. I think my battery's about to die, so I will be right back, and we're gonna finish everything else. Don't move. Alright, y'all, we are back with a fresh battery. I just did a few steps on my eyes just to kind of speed up the process. I darkened my brows a little bit, touched them up, and then I also took some black eyeliner under my eye because that's just normally what I do. I gave my lashes a really good curl. and I put on this MAC Stack lash primer. I like to put that on first to let that fully dry down, so then when I take mascara over it, like, looks better. And I think that's all I did. I also took some of this Juvia's Place bronzer in my crease. I just like mixed these two shades just to add a little bit of definition in my eye. And that's it. Now it's time to wipe off this bake. So I'm going to spray my face in airbrush setting spray from Charlotte Tilbury. I literally just ran out of this all-nighter, so I just had to make the switch really quick. I'm just gonna start blending that bake into my eye. There's not a whole lot to blend. This has been sitting here for quite a while, but that's okay. And I just want to blend that in so it's not super harsh. And then my contour looks super harsh right now, but by the time I go to work, it'll have like kind of blended itself enough. I like my contour to look kind of harsh, because then like throughout the day, like I touch my face, I wear glasses, like it's not gonna be a problem for me. So I blended out the bake. That's that. And then I'm gonna do mascara. So this is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is their Exaggerize mascara. I've had this for quite a while. I've had this since September, and it's just now starting to smell a little weird. Typically mascaras only last like 2 to 3 months before you gotta start like checking on it. But since this mascara is in a glass container instead of a plastic one, it helps it last just a bit longer than like your normal plastic tube mascaras. So as you can see, this is like glass instead of plastic. So I guess that just helps with keeping it sealed longer. And for my under eye mascara, I've actually been using this Tower 28 Jet Set mascara. This is kind of clumpy, I'm not gonna lie, it's not my favorite, but I really like the brush on this. Since it's super flexible, I'm able to really coat every lash, and I have more control, which is why I like using this on my bottom lash line, because I can coat my lashes better and I don't have to worry about like messing up my under eye at all. Okay, but this is clumpy, like I have to really mix it to make sure I get an even application. So okay, we are so close to being done. I'm just gonna take whatever's left on this wand and just take it on my lashes, because I really like my lashes to pop. Like I like my eyes to kind of be the star of the show. I want my eyes to like draw you in, you know. I'm already feeling kind of warm, so I don't think I need a lot of bronzer, so I'm just gonna go jump into blush. My blush combo lately, oh, I just threw that. Oh my god. Not Patrick. She's okay. It's alright. Anyway, my blush combo has been pretty everywhere lately. So I'm gonna start with this Cover FX blush. This is in the shade Spiced Cinnamon. This is my favorite blush for the fall time. I'm gonna go in with that matte shade and just kind of dust it on. I love these blushes. I feel like Cover FX as a brand doesn't get enough hype just because I feel like they're not as popular as they used to be. But their products still eat, especially these blush combos. Like, look at that. And I like that they're not super pigmented. Like, I like a buildable blush. I like being able to have more control over the amount of pigment that I get, because again, I'm so afraid of blush blindness. That is my worst fear, because I know I used to have that. I know my blush used to be like, you could see it from Mars, like, and you know, for some people that works, but it wasn't what I wanted. You know, I was constantly worried about, does my blush look okay? Like, what do I look like right now? Okay. And I love taking my blush on my nose. I love that little like warm kind of like Rudolph look. Okay. And I just took a little bit on my temples. Not a whole lot. Okay. So that was just the base shade. And then I'm going to take the Patrick Ta Blush Duo. This is in She's Baked. Now this blush formula is a bit more sheer than the Cover FX. But that's why I like to like really build it. And I'm gonna take it under my eye too, because again, I like that blushed from within look. Like I like my blush to kind of just kind of peek out. I don't want it to be the star of the show. And I just kind of build that up there. Look how pretty that is. Okay. And then I think that's good for now. Here. Let me see what I need. I want a bit more under my eye. So what am I gonna do? Where's my Cover FX? Okay, I'm gonna take this Cover FX blush again, and I'm actually gonna take the shimmery side. I'm just gonna use kind of a flat brush like this so I can really pack it where I want it. And I'm focusing that under my eye because I want it to kind of lift. And I like that this is shimmery, so it's adding just a bit of dimension, but it's not like super shimmery that it's like too much, you know? Okay, and then just to lighten this up a little bit, I'm gonna take this House Labs blush. This is in the shade Lavender Blonde, and this is like the original blush formula before she like made them smaller. I love these blushes, and I'm so glad I got all of them before she like revamped them, because could never. I like the big blush. But I'm just taking a little bit just to kind of lighten it up. Add some pink in there. And a really fan it on. And of course, on the nose. Okay. And then for bronzer, I'm just going to use this Juvia's Place one first. And I love this big fluffy brush that I have. I'm just going to mix these two shades. And just kind of blend that into my blush. Because again, I want to look like a doll. I want it to look perfect. I don't want you to see any flaws. I'm just going to take what's left of that on my chin. And then I'm going to take my Kosas bronzer. This is in the shade Deep. I love this bronzer. It's just got the hint of a shimmer in there. And I love that. And really just blend that to the bottom half of my face. You look pretty. Where is this? Okay. And yeah, this is broken. Everything I've ever bought from Kosas has always broken. They really gotta fix their packaging. It's kind of crazy. I think that's all I need to do right now. Yeah? Okay. Alright, I don't want to do a wing, but I do want my eyes to like kind of fan out. So I'm going to take this Lancome eyeliner, and it's in a brown shade, but it's like a really dark brown. It's like as close to black as you can get. And I'm just kind of creating my own little wing. I don't want it to be super dark because again, I'm wearing lashes, but literally just like that. And I feel like it just adds, I don't know, like it adds something that's really important. Like it's a very small step. You're not doing a lot, but it adds a lot, you know? And I like mine to be just a bit defined. And I just want to match my inner corner. Okay. Okay. I think we're good for now. I'm going to go ahead and do my highlighter really quick, or at least my first highlighter. I like to use this as more of a blush topper, but this is from Becca Cosmetics, and it's their Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Rose Gold. Becca, like, no longer exists, or I think they, like, became a part of Smashbox, but look at that. That's beautiful. And I've been, like, using this sparingly because I don't ever want to run out, because look, I've already hit pan. Like, I don't ever want to run out of this. And then before I do my lashes, I'm actually going to spray with this Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Spray. I think this is going to be a little bit better because it's a bit more hydrating since it's alcohol free. And I'm wearing a lot of powder right now and I don't want to feel dry. So I'm just going to douse my face in this. So this is a Hydro Grip Spray. So of course I'm going to look kind of dewy. But don't worry, we're going to go back over it really quick. But I'm going to let this dry down while I do my lashes. These are from Lily Lashes, and it's in the shade Royalty. These are a really, like, small, thin, natural lash. But I kind of love that. That's, like, exactly what I want right now. And they're, like, really fluffy. I don't know if you guys can see how they look. But I'm going to put these on really quick, and then we'll come back, do all of our finishing touches, and then we'll be done. All right, y'all, we are back. Lashes are on. Don't they look so pretty and fluffy? I love it. I'm going to take my Becca highlighter again, and I'm actually going to take this in my inner corner just a little bit because I really like that shimmery shade. And a trick that y'all should know, if you're trying to if you want to take your highlighter in your inner corner, drag it up so that way it'll actually lift your eye, and so when it catches the light, it gives that lifted look that you're going for. So I know I'm kind of blocking, sorry. But don't just like put it in the inner corner. Actually like drag it up into your crease so that way when it catches the light, you see that like light right there that we just created. That's exactly what you do. You'll see it better with this highlighter. So I'm going to take this Tarte palette. This is the Glow Squad Volume 1 palette. This just came out. Look how beautiful this is. I love these two highlighter shades in here. I'm going to take this Rose Gold. Why can't I pronounce that? Rose Gold. I'm sorry. And this one's a bit shimmery, a bit brighter. And I'm just going to place that right on top of that highlighter, because I love a bright inner corner. And then for the rest of my face, I just like to mix these two shades. And it just gives juicy skin. I love it. Just like that. On the nose. And then I'm just going to take this. And I actually kind of drag it in the middle of my eyelid. So that way my whole eye kind of catches that light, you know? Okay. And then I totally forgot to do my nose, the bridge of my nose. Just a little dot right down there. And that's why my reverse nose contour is so important. So I'm going to take my Kosas powder again. Now these are all just finishing touches. So we're basically done. But these are just things to help my makeup kind of last longer, kind of elevate it, give it that extra oomph. So I'm taking this BK Beauty brush. This is a 110. And I love this for doing exactly what I'm doing right now, because I want the brightest inner corner and I really want to emphasize my nose contour. So you just see how like that just created that ultimate shadow, and I'm really only keeping that just right there in that little notch. And I'm actually going to take a little bit of this right here just so we can get rid of that shine. For the rest of my face, I'm going to take my Hourglass, what is this, Vanish Airbrush Pressed Powder. This is the translucent shade, and this is like the final touch of all final touches. This is a translucent powder. I don't know what's in here. I feel like I should really look into this, but it has some sort of shimmer, and so it just gives like that perfect dimensional kind of glow. Like, watch. I just take a really nice fluffy brush. I don't know if it picks up on camera, but I can see it in person when you apply this powder. And it has to be a last step, because you don't want to put too much of this on, and you don't want to put other powders on top. But the way it just diffuses light is crazy. Like, I look like a princess. I look like a goddess. Like, I look like a porcelain doll. Like, that's the kind of skin it gives. I'm I'm gonna lock all of this in with my One Size Until Dawn. This is the only setting spray that I've actually fallen in love with that actually does something for my face. You spray this down on your face, your makeup is not moving. I'm not kidding. Everybody has said it. Beyonce swears by it. Once Beyonce used it, that's when I knew it was like locked in. But this setting spray is actually worth every penny. So I give it a really good shake. And I focus this on my chin because I don't want to have any transfer there. Ooh, and I just kind of dry it down. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, so the base is done. I still have to do my lip. I'm gonna go and change into my outfit really quickly because I actually have to go somewhere before I go to work. I have work at 4. It's 2:30 right now. I'm trying to like run a quick errand. So I'm gonna hurry up, change, and then we'll come back and do lip. And I'll show you the end. I'm so excited. All right, let's do this lip. So this lip liner is from Pat McGrath. It's in the shade Living Legend. This has been like my go-to lip combo lately. So I'm just gonna line my lips with this. And it's like so smooth and creamy. That's what I love about this. Like, these are good lip liners. See how easy that was? Like, oh my god. I usually have to build up to that color payoff, but I just took it there instantly. Okay. And I kind of fill in like my whole lip with that, just so I have like that base. Where's my lipstick? Okay. And then the lipstick I'm going to use is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the shade Pillow Talk 2 Medium. This is my favorite lipstick, you guys. Oh my god. If you're looking for like a mauve-y kind of pink, I love the entire Pillow Talk line. Like, with a good lip liner shade, you can make any of those lipsticks work. But this one was like made for my skin tone, and I love it. And that's it. It's just like the perfect kind of mauve-y pouty lip. I love a good pouty lip. I love looking like a doll. Like, this is my pretty much everyday. I'm going to work, so like this is what I want to look like. Like, if I was like a character in a game, this is what my character would look like every day, you know? But yeah, this is the end of my routine. I hope this was educational. I hope you learned something. I really want to help people like learn how to do makeup to their face, because I feel like those techniques just like aren't there anymore. Like, people really don't know. Like, the moment I learned that people didn't know that you had to set all of your cream products, I was like, yo, y'all need some help. So I hope I tried to keep this as like, in, what's the word? I don't know. I tried to be as descriptive as possible and take you through every single step. Like, I wanted you guys to like be here with me. So if you have any questions, comments, things you want to know, put it down in the comments. I'll let you know. I hope you like the look. This will look like this all day. This will last me 10+ hours. I do this routine all the time and I love it. I love her. But yeah, that's it. I love you. I hope this was fun. Have a great day. Be creative, be beautiful, be you. Yeah, love you. Bye. Okay, you guys, so I told you in the intro that I was gonna come back at the end of my shift to show you guys what my makeup looked like at the end. So this is what we're looking like. No touch-ups. I did touch up my lip after my break, but no powder touch-ups, no blush, no highlighter, nothing. Like, I didn't touch my face at all today. We were so busy at the store. I had like no time to actually look at my face. So we're both viewing what we look like at the end of the day right now. But I think it held up well. So my routine is a lot of steps. It's very, you know, in there. It's a lot of steps. It takes a while, but it's worth it. So I hope you liked it. I love you. Bye-bye.